This video is based on a true story and real events. It is intended for educational and documentary purposes only. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
This is a story about betrayal, gang wars, reform, and a double murder that shook Wilmington to its core. Korry Tyson, better known by his street name, Thug Life, was born in New York. But by age 2, he and his mother had moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, eventually settling in Creekwood, a small neighborhood on the city's east side. Creekwood was rough, surrounded by vacant lots, railroad tracks, and boarded-up homes. It had long been defined by poverty, broken systems, and the pull of gang life. And in that world, Tyson rose fast. By his teens, he was fully active in the streets, joining the Gangster Disciples and climbing through their ranks with loyalty and fearlessness. According to multiple law enforcement records and court testimony, Tyson became one of the most powerful GDs in the region, if not the highest-ranking Gangster Disciple in the entire state of North Carolina. He had the reputation, the connections, and the influence, but he also had enemies. In Wilmington, a long-running and deadly rivalry had been brewing between Creekwood's Gangster Disciples and the 9900 Bloods from Houston Moore, a rival housing community across town. This wasn't just graffiti wars or street talk. The beef was real. Shootings, setups, retaliations, and unresolved murders plagued the city, and at the center of it on the GD side stood Tyson. The war wasn't just about blocks. It was about blood, loyalty, betrayal. In 2017, a businessman named George Taylor Sr. launched an ambitious project, TRU Colors Brewery. The mission? To reduce gang violence by hiring rival gang members, giving them legal paychecks, and turning enemies into colleagues. Tyson was recruited into the program, offering what looked like a fresh start. On paper, he was now working with former rivals, turning a new page. But in the streets, not everybody saw it as progress. Some saw it as weakness. Others saw it as betrayal. One of the men who allegedly never let it go was Darrell Green, better known on the streets as Sleepy. Green was labeled by investigators as a 9900 member tied to the United Blood Nation. He was associated with other known blood affiliates in Wilmington, including Raquel Flex, Adams, and Omonte Bell. Over the years, tensions between Tyson and Sleepy reportedly grew. Court records and public accounts referenced an ongoing personal conflict, suggesting Tyson had once confronted Sleepy face-to-face. Whatever the original spark was, by 2021, that tension had reached a boiling point.
July 24th, shortly after 5:30 a.m.
Providence Estates Drive, Wilmington, NC. Inside a quiet suburban home, Korry Tyson was in bed upstairs with his girlfriend, Michaela Walker. Also inside the house that morning was 21-year-old Bri'yanna Williams, a young woman with no verified gang affiliation. According to law enforcement and court testimony, the front door wasn't kicked in, it was opened. Bri'yanna had unlocked the door, and the masked men walked right in. According to prosecutors and crime scene reports, the 3 men who entered the home were Darrell Sleepy Green,
Raquel Flex Adams,
Omonte Bell.
Dressed in black, their faces were covered. They were armed and prepared. The ambush began swiftly. As they moved through the lower level of the house, the first to be struck was Bri'yanna Williams. She was shot near the staircase, killed instantly. Gunfire echoed up the stairwell. The attackers charged upstairs. Tyson, still lying in bed, had little time to react. He was hit by multiple rounds, shot and killed in his own bedroom. His girlfriend, Michaela Walker, was struck in the arm. As bullets flew, she played dead, laying motionless on the floor as the shooters fled. Approximately 5:40 a.m. Still bleeding, Walker used her phone to call 911. Her voice, barely audible, described the horror that had just taken place. She said she'd been shot, and that
a lot of blood.
When Wilmington police arrived, the scene was grim. Tyson was found upstairs, deceased from multiple gunshot wounds. Bri'yanna Williams lay lifeless near the staircase. Walker, though wounded, had survived. The homeowner, George Taylor III, was present but unharmed. He was never charged in connection with the crime. The investigation moved fast. A major break came through cell phone data. According to court documents and public warrants, investigators traced a burner phone that had been used just once that morning to communicate with Bri'yanna Williams in the hours leading up to the murders. That number was connected to Darrell or Sleepy. Although Bri'yanna was not identified as having involvement in any planning, her presence and brief phone contact with one of the alleged shooters raised critical questions in the prosecution's narrative. Investigators suggest her phone activity suggests possible knowledge of an upcoming incident, though no direct evidence shows she orchestrated or facilitated anything. Police identified all three suspects, Green, Adams, and Bell, as validated members of the United Blood Nation, with ties to the 109900 set. Each was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, first-degree burglary, robbery with a dangerous weapon, and gang enhancement charges. None were granted bond. All remain held without release. But the story didn't end there. Weeks after the murders, a music video titled "Sip Again" surfaced online. The song featured Sleepy Green and other alleged 109900 affiliates. Prosecutors pointed to this video as a possible post-murder taunt, an anthem of retaliation and ego. However, Green's defense attorneys argued that the audio was uploaded months before the killing and that the video's release timing was a coincidence. Still, it was played for the grand jury as part of the larger case, contributing to the narrative that the killings were premeditated and gang-related. May 2025, New Hanover County Courthouse. Raquel Flex Adams became the first of the 3 suspects to stand trial. The state's case was built on cell phone records, anonymous tips from the community, expert gang testimony, eyewitness testimony from Michaela Walker, testimony from George Taylor II, and digital evidence.
Phones of alleged co-conspirators, Darrell Green and Omonte Bell, were examined in court. Prosecutors highlighted texts. Green told Bell, "Stop talking to people." Adams texted Green about Providence Road, saying it's gated, deleted on Green's phone. Defense argued the house was not gated. Another message to Adams said, "Don't forget your mask."
Tying Adams to the conspiracy. No physical evidence. The defense argued that Adams never pulled the trigger, but under North Carolina law, conspiracy and participation in a deadly ambush were enough for conviction. On May 27, 2025, the jury found Adams guilty on all counts. He was sentenced to 2 life terms without the possibility of parole. As of today, both Darrell Green and Omonte Bell remain behind bars awaiting trial. Legal delays and motion filings have slowed the process, but both face identical charges. Meanwhile, the community continues to grieve. Tyson left behind children, family, and a complicated legacy feared in the streets, but seen by some as a man trying to turn his life around. Bri'yanna Williams' role remains debated. Some believe she was involved in the setup. Others say she was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. What's known for sure? She died first. And Michaela Walker, the only survivor, is forever marked by that morning. Her testimony helped secure at least one conviction, but the trauma remains. This wasn't random. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a targeted ambush. Years of street war, ending in betrayal, blood, and heartbreak. This is the story of Korry ThugLife Tyson, and the morning Wilmington couldn't forget. In memory of Korry Tyson, Bri'yanna Williams, justice continues.